In the previous topic, we have seen the Biot-Savart's law. Now we are going to determine or what are the applications of the Biot-Savart's law. In the Biot-Savart's law, we have find out the value of magnetic field at any point. So in the first case, we are going to determine the magnetic field at any point by a current carrying straight long wire. So in the diagram, we can see it is a straight infinitely long current carrying wire whose length is L. This is made up of large number of small elements. Out of that, we consider one small element dl. Here this point P, we consider this point is at a distance capital R. It is a perpendicular distance from the conductor capital R. So we consider one small element dl. The distance between the small element dl and the point P is small r. Here the angle is theta. So this angle made by the point P with the length element dl is pi minus theta, because the total angle is pi. So this angle becomes pi minus theta. The current flowing through the small element dl is given by I dl. So what is the magnetic field at point P due to small element dl? It is given by dB is equals to, according to Biot-Savart's law, mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. Now this equation gives the magnetic field produced by upper part of the wire. Only upper part of the wire which produces the magnetic field, which is given by equation 1. Similarly, the lower part of the wire also produces the same magnetic field whose magnitude is given by equation 1. So the total magnetic field produced by the entire length of the wire at point P is given by, so we can take the integration of this small dB. So we will get the maximum B or total B. So total B is given by integration of small dB. So entire length of the wire is infinitely long. So the limit of the integration is from 0 to infinity. Why we consider the 2? Because this equation only gives the magnetic field by upper part of the wire. So upper and lower. So there are two parts of the infinite wire. So we consider 2. Put the value of dB here. Only the change in this equation is we consider the angle pi minus theta, because the point P makes an angle with the dl is pi minus theta. So we consider here the angle as a pi minus theta. So this 2 will be cancelled with the 4. 2 to the 4. So remaining term as it is. In this equation 2, we can determine some values. For example, we can determine the value of sin pi minus theta from the diagram. Also we can find out the value of r square from the diagram. If you applied the Pythagoras rule here, this angle is 90 degree. Then what will be the, if you applied the Pythagoras rule, then r square becomes r square plus l square. This side is l. So r square plus l square is equals to r square according to Pythagoras rule. So take a square root on the both side. R is equals to root r square plus l square. So we have the value of r square. Similarly, if you consider sin pi minus theta in the diagram, sin means opposite side upon hypotenuse. So here if we consider sin, then the opposite side is capital R and hypotenuse is small r. So here sin pi minus theta is r upon small r. Put the value of small r here. In the above equation 2, we can put the value of sin pi minus theta and r square. So above equation 2 becomes, then here in the denominator root r square plus l square and r square plus l square bracket power is 1. So root also we can write in terms of the power as a half, and the second term is power having 1. So this bracket having power half, this second bracket having power 1. So half plus 1 becomes 3 by 2. So instead of writing these two terms, we can write a single term as a power 3 by 2. So we take the r outside. I outside because the two are the constant. If you solve this complete integration term, then the explanation for this complete term is given in the book. If you solve this complete term by using the rule of the integration, then answer will be 1 by r square. So we can directly put the value of this integration term as a 1 by r square. So r will be cancelled from the numerator denominator. Remaining term will be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. This equation gives the magnetic field produced by entire length of the wire at point P. Suppose we want to determine the half part of the wire produced the magnetic field at point P. So to determine the half length of the wire, we just multiplied the above equation by half. So these 2 and 2 multiplied, that will becomes 4. So mu naught I upon 4 pi r. This equation gives the magnetic field produced at point P by the half of the infinite length of the wire.